Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 9 of the Emo Entrepreneur, the podcast where I talk about all the emotional shit with running a business. Today, I have on Dusty, the Wicked Stylist, the owner of the House of Wicked hair studio. He has been doing hair for about 5 years now, and his specialties include vivids, lived-in naturals, extensions, and blowouts. Classic Disney villains have fueled his passion for all things wicked and fabulous. So welcome to the show, Dusty. I'm so excited to have you on today.
Hi, thanks so much for having me.
You are so welcome. So we know each other because we used to rent out of the same salon space, Ovation Salon Suites. So that is
Yep.
where our humble beginnings of our friendship started. But I'm really interested in knowing more about your backstory, since I don't know, we're kind of in our newer friend stage. I'm
hmm
so curious about your story and what brought you really into the cosmetology world, and what that experience is kind of like for you, especially being a boy in the beauty space.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay, so way back about I'm 28, so way back about 10 years ago, I decided to go to college, and as we were kind of raised to do,
Mm-hmm.
and I decided, okay, well, like, what's the one thing that I absolutely love to do the most? Perform. I love being on stage. So I was a theater major, and then I also decided that I really had a passion for psychology too. So I was double majored as theater and psychology. So whenever we weren't on stage, we were always doing things backstage. So we did a little bit of everything. Like we helped build sets, we helped do costume work and all that jazz. Well, I kind of fell into hair and makeup with that, and really my passion started with makeup. I was really passionate about makeup first because I discovered RuPaul's Drag Race at uh, the ripe old age of 15. So
Yes.
started playing with makeup around that time and thinking that, I was just doing it and being amazing and everything. And looking back, I'm like, you have one color on your eyelid and you did eyeliner all the way around and called it a day. No, no. So I started doing more of that stuff like pre-professionally. And then I kind of just had an epiphany one day watching a the show was never canceled. I call it discontinued. It was called American Beauty Star, and it was a reality show competition here in the States, and it was for hairstylists and makeup artists. So, just like any reality competition show, they were challenged with certain things and had to, present on runways and stuff like that. And I remember being on the edge of my seat, actually the edge of my bed, watching and rooting for Andrew Velasquez season one. And he didn't win, but I was like so into it. And then it literally clicked in my head. I was like, why am I not doing this shit? So I called my mom. She was at work. And I called my mom and she was working. And I said, hey, I think I want to drop out of college and go to cosmetology school. And she's like, okay, about time. I had been doing my own hair for years, like crazy colors.
Mhm.
And this is like the most muted tone I've ever done. So this is so different for me. But she was like, "It's about time. Everyone's been wondering why you haven't gone into cosmetology school." And I'm like, "Well, it's because everyone else wanted me to go."
Mhm.
So in 2018, I finally decided to go to cosmetology school. Broke up with my then boyfriend, went to cosmetology school, and then just went really for makeup is really what I went for. I was looking at a school in Austin called Avenue 5, I think is what it was called. And they had a makeup program and a cosmetology program. Well, my unfinished college brain immediately thought, oh, they're the same thing. So I signed up for
Mhm.
cosmetology school and realized I got one whole hour of makeup
Yeah.
and 1,499 hours was all hair related. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess I'm doing hair now. And then I was like, okay, not only am I good at it, but I actually like it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where we're at. We just fell in love with it and kept going.
So when you were in beauty school, did you were there a lot of other like men in your class, or was it more of just a lot of females?
Okay, so this is the funniest thing. Because more on it later, but I went back and taught at my cosmetology school, so I got to see how the dynamics changed in just 4 years.
Yeah.
Um, when I was in hair school, there was a total of 12 men in the
Hmm.
entire school. And back then in 2018, there was about a class of, I think the number was roughly around like 300, 350
Wow.
enrollees. And there was about 12 to 15 of us total in the entire time I was there. I went back then, it was 1,500 hours, so I was there for a year. And I think about 4 or 5 of us were gay.
Yeah.
The rest were straight guys. So
Wow.
that alone I thought was a little odd. Not that I was going to
Hmm.
cosmetology school to find me a husband,
Right.
but
It's like,
of
where are my
course,
people at?
of course, the ones I felt closest with and the ones that I actually really developed a crush and actually fell in love with one of them were straight boys. But
Yeah.
that's another podcast.
Right. That'll be for what we're on episode 9. That'll be for episode 29. We'll
Exactly.
circle
Yes.
back.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, I
That's for
feel
after
like
dark.
right. Yes. So when I was in school, I mean, obviously, I went to esthetician school, so it's a shorter program than cosmetology is,
Yeah.
and it was for me. It was like the first time really being in a space where I felt, I don't know, not there were I was just surrounded by other girls for the first time,
Hmm.
like, and it felt really empowering for me. Like, we all wanted to do this. I mean, granted, like, the girls in my class, like, most of them didn't go on to like continue their aesthetics career,
Right.
but
Right.
at the time, like, it just felt really nice, like, being in a space where everyone felt empowered. Like, all of the
Yeah.
teachers that or educators that I had were women, and it was just like it was like, yes, girls, go girls. Like, that was like the
Right.
first time in my life that it felt really awesome, and I was like, okay, I'm like doing something that really excites me, and then like we're all empowering each other. It's just like a great feeling when I feel like we're just shit on constantly all the time.
Right.
Um, and so, like, I always wonder because I think it was the class that was right before mine, they had
Hmm.
one, they had one guy in their class, and I was like, man, I feel like I would love to know more about the experience of like the actual guys that go in and what that's like for them in such a
Yeah.
crazy female dominated field. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, but I guess it just depends on really who your classmates are. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like
Because around the
usually
time,
people are pretty like accepting, but I feel like
yeah,
there are a couple bad seeds that are like not with it, and
always,
I'm like, okay, babes,
always.
do you know where you're at?
For real. Oh my God, for real. Yes.
Like, did you
Because,
get to
yeah.
school?
Around the time that I graduated, roughly not even about a year. Yeah, it was within that year after I graduated. So 2018 or 2019 into 2020, they opened the barber school. Paul Mitchell opened their barber school in Arlington. It's the only one in the DFW area. And
Wow.
oh, it's small. It's little. Like
Yeah,
the whole school campus is maybe about the size of a really good 2-bedroom apartment.
that's
Um,
crazy.
oh, it's insane. But that's where we saw a massive influx of guys because the criteria for barbers is very different.
Hmm.
At least back then at the time, you don't like. I had to go through a background check to go to cosmetology school. You don't need one to be a barber. So um, there were a lot of guys in that program, and I literally saw it flip. Like I saw like maybe 2 girls for every like 10 or 12 guys that signed up for that school. And it was so interesting to also see the different types of women that signed up for
Hmm.
barber school.
Right.
Um, like I think when I was teaching there, I wasn't teaching at the barber school, but occasionally I went over there and I chatted with them a little bit. I think I maybe knew about 2 that were there because they genuinely enjoyed barbering, and then the others that were just like, I'm gonna get tips more here, and I'm like, girl, you right,
Hmm.
but use what you got while you got it.
Right.
Um, and that's why I think I enjoy like what I do more, because I've had quite a few now living in the neighborhood here in Dallas. I get quite a few inquiries because like on my dating profiles, we'll call them
Hmm.
that. It says that I'm a full-time hairstylist. Like I mostly just put that out there to be like, girls, I'm busy. Like,
Right.
don't hit me up at all hours of the day and the night because a bitch is busy. So,
Yeah.
um, I get a few people that like inquire, like, oh, well, can I come in and get an appointment with you? I'm like, well, what do you want? And they send me a picture of like this intricate bald fade with designs, and I'm like, girl, I'm a barber. I'm like,
Yeah,
no. I said,
that ain't me.
right. I was like, if I want you to like me, I don't want to cut your hair,
Yeah,
because
we're not
you're gonna,
mixing the two.
yeah, no, you're gonna sue me afterwards.
Right.
Um, and it's more fun like doing I kind of stopped saying female hair a long time ago. I
Mhm.
started saying long hair.
Yeah.
I work with long hair better because less room for error, and
Yeah.
typically the heads that it's attached to, whether it be woman or there aren't really a ton of long haired cis straight men out there.
Yeah.
Usually there's some kind of a queer in there a little bit, just a little bit. Um,
Hmm.
so those people I usually connect to a little bit better as a gay gender fluid person myself. Um, and someone in hair school, I don't remember who it was. We were friends, clearly close friends, and we kind of determined that maybe the reason is because subconsciously, this is where my partial psych degree came in.
Hmm.
Subconsciously, there are unfortunately, many women that don't want to see other women succeed if they're not succeeding. So
Hmm.
that's why sometimes some women feel more comfortable coming to a male stylist because I'm not competing with you, babe.
Right. Hmm.
I can make you look pretty all day long. I'm
Hmm.
prettier. So
Yeah.
so that's why like almost all of the clients that I have, they always like, oh my god, literally today I had two of the Mary Kay ladies, and they were not the age you'd expect Mary Kay ladies to be. Like whenever I say
Okay.
Mary Kay ladies, I instantly in my head think my grandmother. But no,
Right.
these women were like at least like maybe barely like 15 years older than us.
Okay.
And literally the moment both of them sat down, I was like, okay, what are we doing with your hair today? And they're like, I want to do something like this, and this. I trust you. You don't know me, but I
Mm.
love that.
Yeah.
I was like, you don't
Hmm.
even know my name. By the way, my name is. And I was like, wow.
Yeah. Nice to meet you.
Right. I was like, girl, we just throwing out trust like it's candy on Halloween.
Yeah, yeah. It's kind of like anyone that has like longer hair that comes into it's like it's a great palette to work with, like or a great
Yeah,
canvas to work with. Like you have so much more, I
absolutely.
guess, like artistic freedom. So I guess it kind of ties into your creative expression that with the love that you have for makeup to kind of
Yeah,
you know flows into what you do for hair. So I think that's a really beautiful thing too. Um,
absolutely.
do you take any makeup clients at all, or is
Nope,
it
never
just
have.
more like a personal thing for you to do?
So it's always I get a lot of people that ask. If I'm being honest, I get a lot of people that ask. Um, it's a lot of the women that I do at Dry Bar.
Hmm.
They ask if I do makeup, and I say, unfortunately, no, I don't, because really, I only do this. Like,
Hmm.
um, I don't even think like, but because of all the makeup that I'm wearing on my eyes is only because my eyes are so unbelievably hooded. Like, we're
Hmm.
probably wearing the same amount. We just can't
Yeah.
tell. And
Pack
because you've
on
done,
the eye cosmetics, baby. Pack it
yes, yes,
on.
absolutely. And I mean, you've done my brows. You know how much brow space I have. So,
Hmm.
or how much lid space I have between lash and brow. So, I really only know how to work with my face and my eye shape,
Hmm.
and I don't wear anything else on my face. Like
Yeah.
this is me.
Same. I
Like,
pretty much I only do this.
yeah, for real.
I really don't do anything else.
The only The only time I've ever done anything else on my entire face is the 2 or 3 times that I've done drag.
Mm-hmm.
And oh my God, my skin,
Mm-hmm.
it had a moment when I took all
Yeah.
that stuff off. Like
Yeah,
I
it's
remember
crazy.
the best piece of advice I got from a drag race girl, not personally, it was watching her makeup tutorial video, was if your face can breathe, you're not wearing enough. So I took that literally. And
Mm-hmm.
of course, I'm not skimping on the budget here for drag
Right.
makeup. So my
Mm-hmm.
drag kit has like over $200 worth of makeup in it, which let's be honest, that's concealer and lipstick from Ulta.
Right.
Um, so doing all that and pretty much only knowing how to do that style of makeup, kind of the over the top, slightly avant garde, more grunge, goth, all that jazz. I
Mm-hmm.
really only work on me. So when other people ask, do you do makeup? I'm like, I do it on myself, and here's why. And then I give them the exact reasons. And I'm like, because I'm guessing you're going to a wedding, you're going to a baby shower, you're wanting something that's going to be like soft, probably a little bit dewy in the
Right.
daytime. I only
Mhm.
do night face. Like
Right. Yeah,
I pull
same.
this. Yeah, I'm like I'm wearing these out in the daylight. Like
Uh-huh.
this is how I look in the nighttime too. Like
Yeah,
it plays
this is
both.
day to night.
Exactly, exactly. And but always make sure you take off your makeup before you go to bed, whoever's listening. Please,
Mm-hmm.
especially when you wear it
Please.
as dark as I do. Oh Lord, if I didn't take off my makeup at night,
Please
oh,
wash your
I don't even
face.
want to think
Don't
about it.
cleanse. No
That
makeup
part.
wipes. Use an oil
Oh God,
cleanser.
no. Shameless plug. Peach and Lily. I use Peach and Lily.
Yeah, there you go. I love
Send me
that.
shit.
Right. Let's get some
um,
PR going.
right. I mean, I already have a good friend who's like who travels around the states doing like their setups and stuff for Ulta. So he flies me some stuff when he can, and I love him for it.
Love that. We
But
love that.
yep, I use a gel makeup or an oil an oil makeup cleanser kind of thing. I don't know. Either way, it gets all my makeup off. And then I go in with a cleanser, and then I follow up with like my hyaluronic acids and lotions and all that stuff.
Lotions and
So
potions. The goods.
lotions and potions, you got to keep the skins hot. Especially with
Okay.
I started doing that a long time ago because I knew all this tugging and pulling in my eyes. I'm like, they're going to get more hooded. I'm going to look like a passive now. So
Mm-hmm.
we trying to
Gravity
keep
is
it tight.
okay. Gravity's working against us for sure.
Always, always. Especially with
So
me being so
after,
tall.
yes, that's so true.
For those
Um,
listening, I'm 6'1" out of heels. In heels, I'm 6'6".
okay. I would love to know what the atmosphere is like up there. My 5'4"
It's
ass.
thin. It's thin.
Then the ozone
That's
layer
why I
is
breathe
gone.
so heavy. Yes, that's why I
Yeah.
breathe so heavy. It's not because I'm fat. It's because it's thin up here.
You are so ridiculous. So after, so I'm curious. So after, okay, so you did cosmetology school, and then
Mhm.
you graduated. So what was your next step? Like while you were in school, what were you thinking you were wanting to do? Right after there, were you wanting to go into a salon environment? Were you wanting to go fully solo? Like, what was your, if you had a plan? Like, what was
I
your
had a plan.
process?
Best laid plans, right? So
Yes.
the only thing my school ever taught me, which I'm going to preface, I absolutely loved my school experience. I know like 9 out of 10 people who go to cosmetology school are usually like, oh, it was the worst thing in the world. I'm like, really, was it? Because you have a career. But
Yeah.
um, the only thing that they really taught us in hair school was work for a salon. You do not have the clientele. No one has the clientele straight out of hair school to go solo. So
Hmm.
anytime there was even a question brought up about it, pretty much we were met with, go work in a salon. You don't have the clientele to start solo. And I was like, okay. So that wasn't the plan. Roughly at about 1,000 to $1,100, I started sending out applications to salons. Got a lot of interviews and got met with a lot of, okay, well, when you graduate or when you get your
Hmm.
license, come back because we'd love to have you.
Right.
So, and of course, they also pushed the like, oh, well, be an assistant first. It's kind of
Mhm.
like secondary cosmetology school a little bit. So that's what I did, and I interviewed at all the salons, and I was in Arlington at the time. So I interviewed at all the salons in Arlington, and even a few in Mansfield that I could. And one hired me. It was Tony and Guy, and I was hired as their assistant. I was one of three or four, I believe, because I was replacing one who had just finished the assistance program. And they do it's kind of a long term training, and it's really long. Some assistant programs are very long, and if that's the route you want to go, more power to you.
Mhm.
I love education. Like, I love learning new things, because the best piece of advice I got in school was, if you think you know everything about this industry, retire. You're done. You're
Right.
finished.
Yeah. Hmm.
Like,
I
you
agree.
you have nothing more to offer if you aren't learning something new.
Hmm.
So um, I got the job at Tony and Guy. I was their assistant, which that's just was my name on, that was my title on my W-2. The real title was Salon Bitch.
Oh, yeah, I was about to say.
So
I'm sure it
yeah,
wasn't a fun gig, and the pay
no, it
probably
was
wasn't
not.
great either.
I mean, it was better than what I was getting when I worked at Ulta, because I was working at Ulta at the time, and I was making like $10 an hour, and I was only getting 8 hours a week. So
Lord.
um, I know they did not like me very much because I couldn't push a credit card.
Mm.
And so I was working at Tony and Guy, and they kept sending me to the Tony and Guy Academy, which I don't know if you know where that is, but it's way the hell up in Plano.
Mm.
I was living
Okay.
in Midlothian at the time.
Jesus Christ, yeah.
Yeah, that job made me get a toll tag,
Uh-uh.
um, which there is no reimbursement for that. Yeah, they don't pay for travel.
Mm.
And whatever time they sent me up there for, they called it further training. No, I was after the second. I went up there about three or four times. Um, I figured out very quickly. I was like, this isn't further training. I'm sitting in on cosmetology school.
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't at an advanced training for people who like were licensed. I was at Color 101 by Tony and Guy,
So why were they sending you there?
because they won't officially say it because they can't, but I can because I don't work for them. Um, According to them, I didn't learn anything about how to do hair because I went to Paul Mitchell. I didn't go to Tony and Guy. They want to only hire Tony and Guy graduates, but they can't put out Tony and Guy graduates need only apply.
Okay.
So I was going up there for not further training, but reprogramming.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. And they told me they recommended that I keep my job at Ulta because I was totally ready to quit. I wasn't part of that two job life yet.
Yeah.
And I was totally prepared to quit. And they're like, no, no, keep your job at Ulta until, we start doing hair when you'll be working more. And I'm like, okay. Well, suddenly my job at Ulta was getting in the way because every night I had to work at Ulta was suddenly a model night, and I could only take one model before I was going to be late for my other job.
Yeah.
So they were already stacking the chips against me. And the final nail in the coffin was I was vaping back then. I was one of the cool kids. And girl, I had that good setup, the one that could fill the room with smoke in a minute. Um,
Lord, are you getting those mango jewel pods?
oh God, no, I wasn't doing jewels. I was doing the whole like mod setup with the tank on it and
Oh
like one.
Lord!
Oh
Oh my God!
yes,
Oh, okay.
yes, yes.
Uh-huh.
Definitely couldn't smoke and drive, otherwise I'd be blind.
Hmm.
So I always had to like roll the window down. But there was
Right.
a vape shop next door, two doors down from the Tony and Guy I worked at,
Hmm.
and there was a guy there, and as soon as he saw me, he's like, "What do you do for a living?" I said, "Well, I'm a hooker," and
None of your fucking business.
he totally started to buy it, and I said, "No, babe, I'm a hairstylist," and
Yeah,
he's like,
yeah.
"Oh my," he literally was like, "Oh my God," he literally pulled out his phone. He's like, "My girlfriend has a salon. She wants to talk to you." I'm like, "Hello?" And she's like, "Hi, I heard you're looking for a salon." I said, "Nope, not true at all." I said, "Yeah, I just walked in and your boyfriend shoved a phone in my face." She's like, "Yeah, it sounds about right." Um, he back then was the biggest. He was the whole the whole PR and marketing for that salon. So I went and had a chat with her. Her name was Steph. Um, uh, she had just opened her own space in Old Mansfield. So we were in historic Mansfield, and it was upstairs in an old building that used to be an apothecary. So already
Ooh,
loved the vibes. Oh yes,
right.
like I'm talking classic brick walls and those classic wood floors, the ones with the big old gaps in between each one. Like if you drop your earring down there, it's gone forever. Come back in
Right,
300 years
yeah.
and the building gets torn down. Yeah, that kind. Walked up there, absolutely loved the vibe about it. Kind of recognized it a little bit. Found out that it used to be a tattoo studio for about a good month, and then they moved
Wow.
out. Um, yeah, so I shared it on my Instagram because I absolutely loved everything that she was doing, and I was like, you know what? So I was like, is this like commission or booth rent? She's like, well, it's booth rent. I was like, no, I can't do that. I was like,
Hmm.
I don't have the clientele for that, blah blah blah. And she was like, you know, that's fair, but you know, we can always figure it out if that's the route you want to take. And I was like, okay, sure. Um, my skeptical ass at the ripe old
Right,
age of
like the
22.
universe is giving you a gift, and you're like,
Right. I'm like, you know what? Return to sender. It's fine.
yeah, yeah.
So shared it on my Instagram because I was, trying to build my brand a little bit and also trying to, because I graduated on time. Whereas a
Hmm.
lot of my friends in hair school, life happened, they got a little lazy and,
Right.
their move days got pushed. So I was like,
Hmm.
you know what? Here's a place, some of my friends can come check it out. And I put it on my Instagram and I was like, come check out. It's called Brick and Mortar, Brick and Mortar Salon in Old Mansfield. I was like, come check out Brick and Mortar. Steph's a really cool chick, and she's happy to help you build your brands and all that jazz. And I said, consider, um, about 2 weeks later, I got approached by the head of HR from Tony and Guy, and they said, yeah, we have video evidence that you posted on your Instagram. And I said, well, that was my story, and it's long past gone. But yes,
Right.
and they're like, yeah, they're like, oh yeah, you can't do that. It violates our non-compete clause. Get out. Yeah, I was fired that night. I was only there
Bye.
for I was only there for 2 months.
Wow.
So totally messing with Steph. I called her and said, dude, you got me fired. She's like, what? And I told her the whole story. She's like, you work here now. I'm like,
Yeah.
I can't do that. I was like, I can't do that. I don't have the clientele or anything like that. She's like, fuck that. You work here now. She's like,
Yeah.
we'll figure all that out later. You work here now. And I was like, okay.
Oh, she was taking
And
you in, little baby under her wing.
exactly. And
Uh,
I literally throw her praise all the time. I'm like, you're the OG mentor.
yeah, what an angel.
I worked 1 day a week for like 2, 3 months. And then I started expanding more once I got the job at Dry Bar. And
Hmm.
I got the job at Dry Bar about 4 months later. So I've been working at Dry Bar since technically September, but I really started in October. But who am I to argue? Um, and yeah, she charged me like a day rate, and honestly, she didn't charge me for like the first 3 months at
Wow.
all. And I was like, here's money. She's like, you keep it. And I'm like, okay.
What a wonderful
So
person. Wow.
absolutely is, and I was devastated when I found out that the salon had to close. But yeah, the salon unfortunately didn't survive. They were fully staffed, like completely full, like they couldn't take in any more renters because Shelton's, the salon that's one of the brothers, the Ogle brothers,
Mm-hmm.
Shelton's had 3 locations in the DFW area. Because of COVID, they had to shut down because a big majority of their, clientele was uh, little old ladies who love their perms, and they weren't going out during COVID. So unfortunately, they had to
Right.
close. So Steph, being an Ogle graduate herself, reached out and said, "I'll take you all." And they also the great thing about a place like that, though, Shelton was very wonderful in this, because I know plenty of salons that wouldn't do this, even if they're closing their doors. Shelton's gave them all of their clients' information.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Shelton's gave all of their stylists, because they were closing. They gave
Mhm.
them all. They gave them their client list
Wow.
and said, "Here, call your clients. Tell them where you're going."
Wow. Yeah,
So
no place ever does that.
no, God, no.
Mhm.
My massage therapist still has her client list from when she left her corporate massage, whatever, her
Mhm.
corporate spa, and she left with her client list, even though she wasn't technically supposed to. Even though, let's be honest, who cares?
Right.
Oh, her old place is literally they are ready to press call to sue, but she hasn't had to call a single person because they all either found her or she's working just fine on her own.
That's wonderful. I love
I
that.
love her so much.
Oh, I
But
love that.
yes, so started working at brick and mortar. Realized I was like, oh shit, is this self-employment? Um,
Hmm.
so became self-employed from that, and technically, yes, that was my only open concept salon I worked at. But I was working the weirdest hours. Like I was working, like if someone called me up and said I want highlights and it's 7 p.m., I'm like, deal, let's go.
Right.
Where everyone else that was working there was like, no, our day's done at 5. What are you doing? I'm like, I'm building a brand.
Yeah, I'm
So
taking fucking clients, bitch. That's what I'm doing.
right. They were all very supportive, but I was one of the founding fathers, is what I call myself. I was actually the only founding father,
Yeah.
because it was me, Jenna, Steph, and another girl, Piper. It was literally just the four of us
Hmm.
in a big, like 12 or 13 chaired salon. So we were all
Oh,
very nicely spread out. And
yeah.
so when people are like, "Oh, you were in an open concept salon," I'm like, "Kind of, but not really."
Hmm.
And then about a year after that, I was working at Fort Worth Dry Bar for almost a year now at that point, and a friend of mine that I worked with, she approached me about, hey, do you want to go into a suite with me? And I said, sure, why not? So we decided to, get a suite at Salon and Spa Galleria in downtown Fort Worth, and we both decided. Well, she convinced, but it took a little persuading for me,
Hmm.
because Salon and Spa Galleria does their they do their leases 6 months, 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, and of course, the higher your lease, the cheaper your rent.
Right.
Well, we decided to sign on for 3 years at
Damn.
$270 a week because it was the cheapest, and then they gave us 12 weeks free as soon as we started. So basically,
Okay.
we started our business June of 2020.
Hmm.
We made a
Wow.
choice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we started June 2020. So, but the good thing was we didn't pay rent until September because we had June, July, and August all free. So we didn't have to start paying rent until September.
Wow. So were you
Well,
guys getting
11
clients in?
I was.
Okay.
Um, she's a wonderful girl. Like, absolutely love this girl. Um, I'm gonna choose to not use her name. Love, wonderful girl. She's absolutely wonderful.
Hmm.
Like, we were really good friends. We still vibe occasionally, but I'm pretty sure she doesn't work in the industry anymore. I think she went back
Hmm.
to like tattoo removal. She's trained in that, and it made her good money.
Hmm.
Um, we met at a dry bar, and fabulous stylist. She could do updos in 20 minutes if you give her a couple bobby pins and an elastic. But
Hmm.
11 months into our 3 years, she's like, "Yeah, I feel like you're getting busier and I'm in the way, so I'm gonna go."
Oh. So put it all on
Yeah,
you.
I didn't know that. What I thought was we were both separating and we were gonna go our separate ways. Like I was gonna get a room, she was gonna get a room, we were gonna go, because
Right.
Salon and Spa Galleria was very flexible with that. If you wanted to move rooms, more than welcome. You just had to,
Mhm.
talk to the manager, possibly like sign a whole new lease instead of just a
Right.
new one with, or your old lease with new numbers on it.
Mhm.
But no, I remember I came into work one day, and how they do at Ovation, they would just slide things under the door.
Mhm.
And I came in and I was like, "Oh, look, divorce papers." That
Oh
that
no.
that's essentially what it was, because it was, this is the severing ties of letting, so and so out of the lease,
Hmm.
all yours. And I'm like, "Oh, that's what we were. Okay, I guess this is my space now."
Yeah. So
So she
having
moved
to
out.
like, right. So each of you were paying before she left. Each of you were paying 270 a week.
Each of us were splitting 270.
Oh, okay, splitting 270. So then with her leaving, you would be 270 a week.
I was paying 270 by myself. Before that, we were paying
Yeah,
$135 a piece.
got it. Okay.
So
Wow.
I went from a $50 day rate to 135 to 270 all in the matter of like 2 years.
Quickly. Yeah. And that's a
Never
lot.
once, yeah, fortunately, never once though did I have to, rely on dry bar or rely on other than my clients to support the business. Um, it was never, okay, I need to take out a small loan to keep going. It was no, who needs highlights this week? Who needs a blowout?
Right.
Who needs something? And managed to make it work. And then, roughly in that year, I also decided I was like, well, if this is my room and this is my space, then I'm naming this bitch.
Yeah.
So I wasn't just, Dustin the Wicked Stylist anymore. I was Dusty the Wicked Stylist. Thank you, masks. I changed my name because of all the masks. No one could ever hear my name. I got tired of being
Mm,
called I've been called Justin, Austin, Brandon, Damien, Damon, and the guy with colorful hair.
no, ma'am.
I've had so yeah. So I started going by Dusty because everybody could hear it, even with my mask on, and
Mhm.
it wasn't really a question. I got one Rusty once, and I was like, I'm not even mad at that. So because I had a student named Rusty, wonderful girl, absolutely loved her, and I was like, I take that as a compliment. But
Yeah.
yeah, so in that 2 years, I decided to name it, and I put it to a vote on Instagram. I was like, here are 10 names. We're gonna, um, uh, some kind of sports reference. We're gonna break it down into brackets.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Five,
yeah.
5, and 5. Y'all pick your top two, and then we broke it down and kept going down. And then towards the end, I was like, the House of Wicked. That sounds interesting. I think it's because I was
Mm,
watching a Lady Gaga video, and it said the House of Gaga, and I was like, the house, spelled like
mm-hmm.
fashion house. I like that
Yep.
shit. So I put it in my story, and I was like, bonus name. Oh, that one flew out the door. Like no one
Yeah.
voted for any of the other ones at that point. It was a final three. I was like, I'm gonna do this RuPaul style. The final three.
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Top three. This one won by a landslide. The other two didn't even get votes at all.
Wow. So
So that's when the House of Wicked was born.
did you end up like did you end up staying for the rest of that like 3 year lease?
Oh,
Or did
absolutely.
you yeah.
I kind of
Okay.
had to because
Mm-hmm.
I did consider leaving. It was very, I think it was about at the halfway point, about a year and a half, maybe almost 2 years, when I realized, okay, Vivids is kind of where I hate saying my comfort zone because if you're really true with yourself, a comfort zone is not all that comforting.
Mm-hmm.
That's like where I'm most creative. It's where I feel the most free. It's where I can have the most fun, and I absolutely, I like lose my mind over the results.
Yeah.
Or I absolutely hate myself and I think about it for a week.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah. Just thinking about it at night in bed, like
I,
fuck.
I'm like, there was a patch in the back that didn't take, and she's never going to notice. Absolutely never going to notice, but I'm going to notice. And I'll
Mm-hmm.
probably mention it at her next appointment like a dumbass. But
Ah.
that was where I started realizing, like, this is where I feel the most comfortable. Like, this is my specialty. Like, I think I've been
Mhm.
doing this long enough. I can claim a magic.
Right.
So, I decided that that was like where I really wanted to like focus on, and then
Mhm.
realized, oh, Fort Worth isn't it for this. Fort Worth is what I affectionately call 50 Shades of Beige or 50 Shades of Blonde,
Yeah,
and
so
I am
much blonde
so much
everywhere.
blonde,
Oh.
especially high maintenance blonde, platinum blonde, to the scalp blonde.
Mhm.
Like, just not my wheelhouse. I've tried, and I even tried it on myself just to see if I could do it a couple days ago, like last week actually.
Mhm.
And I was platinum blonde. It was blotchy when I toned it, and I'm like, this is why I don't do blondes.
Yeah, blonding is crazy hard.
So I was like, okay, well, so kind of figuring out that vivids were in my wheelhouse, and that's what I really wanted to focus the most of my energy on. I decided, okay, I was talking to Brody
Mhm.
and my barber and was like, I think I need to move areas. He's like, yeah, why aren't you over here?
Mhm.
I'm like, well, considering at the time I was only like 25, and I'm like, in 25 years of life, I've only been to Dallas maybe, I don't know, 5 times.
Mhm.
When I was in school, everybody kept saying, "Oh, you would do well in Deep Ellum," and I was like, "What's Deep Ellum? Is that a bar or something?"
Yeah.
So, I mean, in a way, yes. Finally decided to come over and check out Deep Ellum, and I was like, "Oh yeah, this is kind of where I should be and where I want to be." So I was looking into like what it would be to get out of my lease and everything like that, and to break my lease at that time, I would have instantly. I already knew right off the bat I would have to pay back any promotions, so I would immediately have to pay back all those 12 weeks I got for free.
Ooh, uh-uh.
Right. I was like, "Ooh, girl, we only like 2.5, 3 years into the business. We ain't got that kind of money."
Mhm.
So I was like, "Well, I guess we're just sticking it out, and I'm just prepping all my clients." So at the 1 year mark, I said, "Okay, everyone, here's your 1 year warning. I'm leaving."
Yeah.
And almost all of my clients, I'll say about a good 90%, came with me. I maybe lost like four or five, maybe six. Two of them came back. They tried to leave, but they couldn't.
Well, that's amazing that they stayed coming from so far away too, you know.
Most of them weren't actually Fort Worth based. They were all like based in the mid cities. So it was really just kind of like same distance, different direction.
Okay, so it kind of, yeah, it just worked out perfectly then.
Yeah. And they liked the Deep Ellum area. They weren't a big fan of the open concept salon that I decided to give a shot to. I worked at a level 101 for a little while, and that was nice. I absolutely adored everyone I worked with. But the whole going from my own secluded space to
Right.
being around everybody all the time, most of my clients didn't love it. I was getting used to it, but my clients weren't because I was like, well, I'm in this every day. Y'all are here like once every 6 to 8 weeks.
Right, 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 right.
So, yeah, understandably, they weren't like loving it. So when I said, what if I go back to a suite? They're like, oh, please.
Mm. Yeah,
So,
get to like your clients how they interact with you like when they come if they're used to, just you inside of a space. And I mean, you know how it is, everybody's trauma dumping, during their
pretty
appointment.
much.
They don't want to do it going from like a solo space to going around to having other people around too. So
Right.
I
And that's pretty much what happened.
mean, mhm.
Um, like I've had plenty of them tell me, you know more than my husband. I'm like, and I love that. But
Right. I
if
get
you
what
commit a crime, right? I was like, but if you commit a crime, tell your husband because I will roll on you.
right.
Like there is that spousal privilege. There is no hairstylist client privilege. I will roll on you for $50.
Yeah, yeah,
Like I will be like, I know where she put the body. I know what she did it
yeah.
with. I'll even tell you which car she used. It was mine. So I'm like, please, if you commit a crime, tell your husband. But other than that, yeah, come on, keep telling me things.
Yeah.
So
So
most of them, it wasn't even so much that; it was more they just really a bunch of them were like, we just miss watching Disney movies with you in your suite. I'm like, oh well, that's not really a reason for a business decision, but okay, let's bring that back.
how long were you at the open level or the open concept salon in Duvallo?
2 months.
2 months. Okay. And then
I was
that's when
there. I
you
was there from June till came to Ovation in August of last year.
and then we're coming up on a year.
I
Just
know.
and so
Yep.
you were at Ovation for a year, going back to having just a solo space.
Yep.
Were your clients happier with that, with the solo spot?
They were once they found it.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we know.
yeah, yeah.
That stupid GPS always takes you to Jersey Mike's.
It sure does. Yeah.
And then they
The
try to go up the stairs and they can't get up the stairs and
yeah, the most complicated layout of a salon suite I've ever seen in my life.
for
Um
real, like it could be so much more successful if it was literally anywhere else.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I stayed there for 2 years and then I moved
Okay.
to where I'm at now. So you did a year there and then you're about to move into your new spot in Deep
My new
Ellum.
spot in Deep Ellum.
So
Very excited. I'll be at it's called My Salon Suite in Deep Ellum on the corner of Canton and Malcolm X. Super easy to get to. There's a parking garage and I can validate the parking so my clients don't have, because I asked them, I was like, what's the worst thing? Like if you had to pick one, just one. If you had to pick one thing about Deep Ellum that you didn't enjoy, what was it? Pretty much the overall unanimous consensus was parking is a bitch.
Right.
And I'm like, well, what if I tell you there's a parking garage and it's free to you if
Mm-hmm.
you get an appointment with me? They're like, so when are you moving?
Right. Yeah, they're gonna absolutely love that space. I'm so excited for you to have this spot that like is pretty much the one that you kind of wanted the whole time while being solo, like what what you wanted Ovation to be essentially.
Pretty much. Yeah.
So how long
Yeah.
did you have your lease for at the spot, this new one?
Oh, I'm only if it's even an option, I'm always doing a year now.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah,
I
I
would
feel like
rather do year to year and then know it, or like because my salon suite did offer 1 to 3 years,
mhm.
and I'm like, ooh, 3 years, that's quite a commitment. I'm like, I'm a gay millennial. We don't commit. I can't even commit
Yeah,
to a hair color.
God. I signed a 3-year lease with the space that I'm in. Um, but I knew a lot of it was gonna be working through construction and all that stuff. So it's really not
Okay, so
even.
does that include your time that you had to spend upstairs?
Hmm. Yeah. So I have been there for almost a. It'll be a year in November. I'll have been there. So I'll
Wow.
have more years in the space, which is great because it feels like so when I moved into my new spot,
Uh-huh.
the room that I signed a lease for wasn't ready yet. So they had
Yep.
put me in a temporary room and I was there for a very long time, and I just moved into my actual space at the very end of May. So I've been in my actual room for 2 months. So it feels like I just moved in because I, I essentially did, and
Yeah.
so I'll have like 2 more years, and I'm almost positive I'll probably renew my lease there. But I mean, who knows where I'll be at in a year, 2 years? So well, I mean,
Right.
we'll see. But I feel like the space I have now is like the space that I, like dreamt about when I was at Ovation.
For
Like
real, because yeah, like looking when I was in your space this last time, because I've only been to your space twice now, even though you're my new brow girl, so I'll be seeing you every month, um, roughly.
the
Uh, when I saw your new space, I was like, this hasn't been your space the whole time because this feels like it's been your space this whole time. Like
right,
you did more in that little bit of time that you've been there, decor wise, than I
mhm,
did the entire time I was at Ovation.
yeah. I just knew like I had to. I don't know. It's just like it's everything I imagined in my head. Like I wanted to paint quickly. I wanted to get everything done quickly so that I
Yeah.
could. It's still not 100% what I wanted to. I mean, there's a bunch of shit I want to like hang on the walls, right? But I mean, for the
Right.
most part, it's mostly there. Like when you walk in, you're like, yes, this is Jenna's space. Like it's very loud.
Absolutely.
It's
Absolutely.
and I took like the leftover paint and like because I'm working on like painting my office, so
I
um
love that.
be the same vibe. So I'm in the work mode. But yeah, like having a solo space that really like oozes you is so important while like also taking into consideration, like your clients' needs and everything like that. But at the end of the
Absolutely.
day, they're gonna come to you pretty much regardless. But like making it so unapologetically your space is gonna
Yeah.
like they're gonna come in, they're gonna take fucking videos and photos and just be so excited. They're gonna tell their friends
Right.
about it. You and I are very loud people and like
For
bright,
real.
bright things. And
Yeah.
so like that's what our spaces are.
I'm
Um
like, I can both simultaneously love the grunge movement and gay pride at the same time.
exactly. And because like I feel like I don't know. I feel like there are a lot of other solo people that have solo spaces that just don't put enough of themselves into their space, like into their
Agreed.
decor, or do it's just like beige. And I've talked about this before on the
Seriously.
pod. I just can't fucking stand it. I don't understand minimalism. I don't understand beige and brown. Like, it's just never been my thing. I understand that other people love it, but I just don't. It's
Do they
so
though? Like,
I
I've
don't
wondered that. Do they though?
I don't know.
Oh, excuse me.
It's just I look at it and I want to throw up. Like I
Yeah,
just
I was walking around Ovation a couple days ago, and also I don't know how. I mean, I know that you absolutely cannot, but I'm like, I know that I cannot work with my blinds open.
mm,
Like my
yeah,
solo, it's my space. I really do not need my windows open so everyone walking by can just be like,
right. Yeah, when I
yes,
was there, my blinds were always closed because well, I'm waxing a lot of genitalia.
exactly, yes, yes,
So nobody would have those open. But yeah, it's like I don't know. You want to be like in that little bubble where you feel like as a client
exactly,
that like other people aren't looking at you while you're in a very vulnerable position. Probably have like a head full of fucking boils and whatever. Like you look crazy when you're getting
right.
confronted. Like
You really
you don't
do.
want people to like I don't know. Some
That's
people
why
don't.
I don't even like have my clients facing the mirror. Like
Yeah.
we're not facing the mirror. Like basically how I'm sitting right now is how my salon is like kind of set up. The mirror is right here, the TV is right here, and you are turned watching
Mhm.
television while the mirror is behind you. I'm also behind you. So I'm like, you don't need to look at this because for one thing, we were always like taught in hair school like it's because we didn't even when we did color in hair school, we had a color bar and we would take our clients over to the color bar and do their hair over there
Mhm.
because they wanted us to get in the habit of not having our clients watch the getting their hair done because you're going to get that one person who's like, are you sure it's supposed to look like this? I'm not done.
Mhm.
Are you sure?
Let me.
I'm not done. Like, I'm not done.
Yeah.
So like, and I even have plenty of clients that because of what I do and I'm doing all those vivid colors and all that, um, more often than not, they're like, I don't even want to see it until it's done.
Right.
Like it's done. They don't want to see it like when I've like freshly washed it and it's wet. They want to see it when it's blow dried, styled, and completely finished.
Yep.
So I cover up the mirror
Yeah. I love that.
just in case.
Mhm.
And only one client have I had that was I was like, "Do you want to be surprised or do you want to know?" And she's like, "I want to be surprised." So I covered up the mirror. And then as soon as I was blow drying her, she's like, "Okay, my anxiety is peaking." I said, "Well, first of all, your hair's still on your head, so calm down."
Yeah. 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 You're not
I
bald,
said, "Do you
babe.
want me to show?" Yeah, I was like, "Do you want me to show you now?" She's like, "No," but I was like, "Are you gonna come down?" She's like, "Probably not." I'm like, "Well, I don't keep booze in the fridge, so you're gonna have to chill."
Yeah. 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 That is so funny. Clients are something else, man. They
Oh, they
are.
really are. And you find your people. Like that's a big thing that I used to always stress to my students when I was teaching, and I try to stress to my family because my family they they're proud of me, of course. Well, actually, I shouldn't say of course because there are plenty of people who don't have that support, and I'm very grateful to have that support. But my family they come from that the past generations
Mhm.
where you work super hard and you'll get everything. Well, okay. Um, right. Hello. I try to tell them, and also I'm the only one in my family who works in the beauty industry. Um, like my
Same.
mom's ex-military, my stepdad is an entrepreneur, but he's all mechanical, so he's an electrician and a dent repairman, and he's run his own businesses for years, off and on. But I was like, okay. And then my sister is a recent college graduate. Congratulations to her. And she's currently working in a school district. So like, and my sister gets it a little bit more than my parents. And I try to explain it to them like, I'm not going to take on every single person that has my business card or has my name.
Right.
Like, and I even tell my clients that too when they're like referring me to people. I'm like, okay, I know it's my job really to be choosy,
Mhm.
but I had to have a conversation with one of my clients because she is, I affectionately call I call a lot of my clients my wicked beauties but I
Mhm.
call the ones I'm truly close with, they're my freaks and weirdos.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're one of my freaks and weirdos. Why are you sending me people who want to be platinum blonde?
Right. Like, I don't want those people.
Right. And I liked her. Like that was the downside to this. I really liked this girl. She was sweet, but her demeanor was defeated. Like when she
Yeah.
came to me, she was like, I've had so many people that I've tried to get this with, and I'm like, okay, red flag number one.
Mhm.
So I did the service, and it didn't end well for either of us. Like I wasn't thrilled with the quality of work I put out. She was semi happy with the color that I gave her, but I gave her a plan of moving forward, what we can do to correct and redo and get all this done. But literally by the end of it, I felt so nauseous that I texted my friend who sent me this person and said, "Does she hate me?" And she's like,
Mm,
"No, she doesn't." And I said, "Are you sure?" And she's like, "I wasn't going to send you this, but I'm going to send you this." She sent me a screenshot of the conversation that she had with this girl, and
mhm.
she wasn't upset. She was just defeated. She
Yeah.
was like, maybe I'm just asking for something that I just can't have. He worked his ass off. He did the work. It's just not what I really wanted.
Yeah.
And I was like, I said, honestly, if this was me even 2 years ago, I would quit.
Mm,
Like, this is not what I want to do. I'm
yeah.
not good at this. Like, and if I was still in hair school, that would be fine. But I'm like, now I'm out here, I'm working. I charged her over $300 for this, and neither of us were happy. That doesn't seem fair to either of us. Like, I don't feel right taking that. And I'm sure she doesn't really want to pay that much for something she doesn't like.
Right. And I guess that's another
So,
thing from like a professional standpoint is like maybe, when you get clients in for consults and they're asking for something that like you either don't want to do or don't know how to do, and be able to
exactly.
say, hey, like, I am not the person that's going to give you the best result, but here is a list of
Exactly.
XYZ people that I would love to refer you to that could do
Right.
this better than I can. And that's also like a hard pill to swallow for us too, to be like, I can't do this for you.
Right.
Want to be able to do that. And especially like if you vibe with the person too, you're like, oh, fuck, I would love to have you as a client, but like, I can't give you the work that you're asking for. And I don't want to give you like results that you're not happy with. And like, I've
Agreed.
taken on clients before, like when I was first starting out, that I feel like I should have referred to somebody else, but you're like, you want to be good, and you're like, I
Yeah.
need to get my hands on people, like I need to work on clients, but like you also have to realize and take a step back, like it's not about you, like
For real.
at the end of
Exactly.
the day, it's like about your client. At least it is to me. Like I have such a, I don't know, I come from, I try to think of it like from the client standpoint and just be like, okay, well, if I was them, like I wouldn't want somebody that's like not feeling 100% like, hell yeah, I can do this for you. Like I would rather them just be like, hey, I'm just gonna keep sending you down the way until you can find the person that can do this job for you. But it's like
Exactly. I had a client who was like that. She has very coily hair.
Mhm,
Um, so she always wears her hair in its curly coily state.
mhm,
Typically, if I'm cutting hair like that, my immediate first question is, how do we wear our hair now, like on a normal day to day? Do we get it blown out and wear it for a week? Or
mhm,
do we just rock our natural curls? And she's like, I usually rock my natural curl. And I'm like, okay, so I'm going to be honest with you. I said, the only way I really know how to cut curly hair is on people who like to get their hair blown out all the time. So I blow it out, straighten it, cut it, and then style it. I said,
mhm,
so I don't think that I'm going to be the one for you to do this particular service, but I can do your color. When I tell
mhm,
you, she literally, because I was talking to her in the mirror, which I typically don't do. I usually like to look my clients in the face,
mhm.
but I was messing with her hair. When I tell you that she full on turned around and gave me like a hug at the waist,
Aw,
she was like, you're the first person to be honest with me about that. She's like, I have gone to so many people and they've said that they can do it and then they don't do it right or do it well. She's like, I can't say what's right. This isn't my job. She's like,
right.
but I'm not happy with it at the end. And this woman, she's all too sweet. She wouldn't even tell you if she didn't like it. Like,
Yeah.
we've done so many colors under the rainbow on her that I'm like, did you actually like all of them? And she's like, well, there was one I wasn't a fan of, but I'm not going to tell you what it was. And she's like, because it wasn't your work. It was just I realized that I just didn't like that color on me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm going to be thinking about that all night, right? But I actually didn't think about it for very long, so it wasn't even that big of a deal. But yeah, I have absolutely no problem like referring to friends or other businesses. Like I follow a lot of my former students on Instagram, the ones I like anyway, and
Right.
a couple of them work at a few salons throughout Dallas, and one of them I'm so fucking proud of her. When she was in hair school, I couldn't even get her to take a haircut. Now she's out here doing platinum blondes like she's,
Wow.
been doing this
Hell yeah.
for ages.
I
And I'm
love
like,
that.
I said, go check her out. She's at a salon called Blantourage. Their name literally says it in the title. They do
Love.
blondes. You want to go there.
Yeah. It's like you want to
That's
go where
why,
you're going to just for what you're looking
exactly.
for.
Like, you don't want to, like, don't come to me just because your friend said I'm amazing. Your friend has
Right.
rainbow hair. Of course I'm amazing for that.
Yeah.
And also, what I think a lot of people in this industry need to get over the hard pill to swallow, because it is a hard pill to swallow, but so are a lot of things in life. Oh, like I put in my story a while back, own your shit.
Mhm.
When you mess up, first of all, it's not a mess up. That's one thing I've always learned, even when I was teaching and when I was a student. It's a
Mhm.
learning opportunity.
Literally.
Like, yeah, you learn from it. So I
I
had a
love to.
client I had a client that I did hair extensions on. I put her extensions in. I redid them because the stylist that she went to before didn't take into account how fine her hair was, and just it was a whole mess. So I
Mhm.
redid her extensions, and she was absolutely in love with them. She came and saw me about 3 weeks later at Dry Bar, and I was
Mhm.
washing her hair, and I was like, "Hun, almost all of your beads holding your extensions in are gone. Like they fell out." And I was like, please come back tomorrow and let me fix this. So I redid her extensions for free, of course. And because at that point I was like, I don't know if this was because she's had extensions for a long time. I was like, well, she was also my first client, and I didn't want to tell her that, but I did later. And she was totally fine. Like she wasn't upset, she wasn't mad. She was in fact, she was like, "Are you sure?" She's like, "Because I don't feel anything. Like it's not hurting me." I said, "It will when it rips your hair out."
Right.
So she came back in, I redid it, I posted in my story like, own your shit. Like when you see something that's wrong, own it. Don't
Mhm.
cover it up and hope that we can hope she doesn't see it later. Fix
Yeah.
it. Offer to fix it.
Yep.
Um Now of course, it's kind of, case by case, I guess. Like you're not gonna wanna tell her, oh hey, I ruined your whole thing, let me redo it for free.
Right.
But um, you know, if it's something like that where I'm like, okay, she only has like 4 beads on the side that are holding it on, all her beads in the back are gone. She's gonna lose the hair on her temples if I don't fix this. She'll
Mhm.
notice.
Oh yeah. Oh, quickly. Quickly.
So right. So it's the case of, just do what you need to like it's your name on it at the end of the day. And I even put it in there. I was like, at the end of the day, this is my name on it. And what sounds better? He ripped my hair out, or he noticed that he messed up and he fixed it.
Mhm.
And I was like,
Yeah.
sure, I didn't make any money off of it. But, and when I said that, like I put it in my story, and as soon as I said that, I was like, oh, I probably shouldn't have said that. Because she sees my stories like instantly. I swear she has story alerts on, and I love it. Uh, I even joke with her about it. She's like, no, I'm just on my phone a lot. And I was like, I'm going to believe that you just have my notifications on.
Yeah.
And instantly she was like, "Oh my God, I forgot to pay you." I said, "It was free, babe." And she was like, "No, what's your Venmo?" I said, "No, you don't have to do that." She's like, "Yes, I do. You did the work. What's your Venmo?" I always
Oh.
tell people I'm going to be humble once. Like,
Mhm.
I'm going to say, "No, no, it's fine." But if you insist, okay, cool. I'm not going to keep
Yeah.
being humble.
Yeah. I think it's really important for service providers to own up to their mistakes and be honest with their clients. And like I had one
Absolutely.
of my favorite clients. She's been coming to me for Brazilian waxes like pretty much damn near since I opened. And she's a client that likes to keep like a triangle on the mound area. She doesn't like everything taken off. And one day we were talking. I mean, we like shoot the shit during every service, right? And I think I was just like, I don't know if I had a lot going on that day or what was going on. And I put a strip down where it was right over the patch that we always keep. And I ripped that bitch off. And I was like, I'm gonna have to take all your hair off. I was like, and she was like, did you just? And I was like, I sure did. But she's like such a chill client. I felt so bad. Oh my God, I felt so bad. I was like, oh my God, here's a refund and please take like some free product. Like, I am so sorry. Like,
Right.
I know that hair grows back, but I was like, I want you to know, like, and she was like, it's fine, it's fine. And I was like, like, I was,
Right.
I was just like, it was eating me alive until I saw her the next time. And I was like, I promise you that will never, ever happen again. And that was like, that's the only time that's ever happened. But like, it's so important to like, to just say when you do something wrong, or especially for me, if I'm working with a client, if I'm doing like, say I'm doing like, I'm giving them a new skincare routine, right?
Hmm.
I put them on a product that maybe isn't the best for them, but then I have to be like, okay, well, we're gonna finish this out, and then I'm gonna get you on something new. Like, that was my fault. I should have put you on this other product. Like, just be
Right.
open and honest with your clients. Like,
Right.
people go through the bullshit. Like, don't just don't just write it out. you know,
Right. Because,
I
like I
don't
said, at the end of the day, your name's on it, and like, what sounds better, like this or that?
like, yeah, you're only as good as like your worst client story.
Exactly.
So it's like
Exactly.
everybody fucks up. Like, everybody,
For
nobody's
real.
perfect. That's why it's like so.
Absolutely.
I think why it's been so important for me to just like bare my soul and everything, like on my Instagram stories and like on this podcast too, has almost been like a like my own therapy session almost with other business owners of just like,
Yeah.
it's okay to fuck things up. It's okay to not be perfect. It's okay to not be fully booked all the time. Like, social media is such a like highlight reel of people's lives. Like, we only see like a 0.5% of what
Right.
someone's day is, even though in our minds we're like, they're perfect. Why aren't we like them? Like, I mean, I get that
All too
all the
often.
time, every day, but like, I just don't see enough people own the nasty, like, guttural, awful things that we feel and go through, and like why that's so important to talk about. Because like,
Yep.
I feel like some people just try to like keep up with the Joneses and act like, I don't know, act like they're fucking booked out for years and months in advance, and like they're doing so well and they're making all this money and they're going on all these trips or whatever, but then like behind the scenes they're like $40,000 in credit card debt and like
Exactly.
are miserable. Like, it's okay to just like talk about the bullshit. Like, nobody's fucking perfect, and that, I don't know.
Right.
So I appreciate that like you're able to talk about that too,
Oh yeah.
with and and everyone else that I don't know I've had on that kind of have talked about that too. Like, it's okay to to like
For real.
not be
Like,
the biggest baddest service.
sometimes I right. Like, sometimes I identify as a human. I can have human feelings.
Yeah, exactly. Like, so it's just crazy, but um, I think we'll probably wrap it up there. This was a lovely interview, and getting to know more about your story and where everything started for you and where you're going now. And I'm so excited for you to open up this new space on my birthday. So slay. But
Really?
yeah, August 5th.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I'm so excited for you. I'm so proud of you. I can't wait to see the magic that's gonna happen in your new space. It's gonna be fucking awesome. It's gonna be everything that you could
Absolutely.
the energy is right. The universe will always give you
Oh,
what
for
you.
real. Yes, absolutely. And you know what? I don't even think I actually have. I'm double checking right now. Let's see. Yeah. I don't think I. No, I don't even have a client on opening day yet. So,
See.
um, that means you need to come in for a birthday blowout.
Mhm. Show does. It show does. And like for me,
Yep.
here, I'll I'll do you one better. Let's see. What does my schedule look like tomorrow? I have one client booked tomorrow.
Nice.
One. See? Like this is real life, people. This is real
Oh,
life.
for real. Yeah, if we're showing schedules, like this is my first week at the suite.
Mhm. Yeah,
Like,
we're not all fully fucking booked and busy, like,
nope.
but it's okay. We'll get there.
This,
We'll get
yeah,
there.
we will get there. Yeah, because like
But
this is the week after. Like all highlights, all colors.
yeah, it's such an up and down roller coaster. Like,
Oh, for real, it is. It's more bipolar than me.
mhm. It really is. So where can the people find you online? Anything you want to plug? We've got your opening day, August 5th, at the new
Yes,
spot.
absolutely. Well, I mean, my Instagram is always open to the public, at the Wicked Stylist, and on there is like pretty much the links to everything. Like, I don't have a website just yet. I'm working on it. But right now it's just my booking site, which is just staywicked.glossgenius.com. And currently, all of my other things are like in limbo right now because I just changed the address on all of them. So they're all like, oh, well, now you need to verify that you're moving to a real place.
Oof.
So that's a lot of fun. I got to fight with Google again.
Love it. Love it. Well, I will put
Yes.
everything in the show notes where you can find Dusty, his Instagram. We'll put the name of the salon, everything, all of his booking links. And with that, I want to say thank you again. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Love you so much.
All right. Love you
And
too. Thank you.
I will see all of you guys next week for episode 10. Wow, we're hitting double digits
Oh, my goodness.
of the Emo Entrepreneur. Bye.
Bye.